Most of us start off with no money and lots of time. So what we do is we take our time and we go into the marketplace of life and we trade. We trade weeks and months for lifestyle. We trade it for money. We trade it for cars and homes and travel. We trade. Now, you can tell if you have been a good trader by looking at the quality of your life today. Did you trade well? If you traded your time, if you spent your time, if you invested your time really well, then you have a wonderful lifestyle. It means you have a beautiful home, beautiful car, you have money in the bank because you traded, you exchanged your time very well for high value. Okay? So what is the very best investment of your time? Experts will tell you the very best investment of your time is to increase your earning ability, is to spend money getting better at the most important things you do.
The highest and most valuable work you do is thinking. And the reason this is so important is because of the word consequences. When I began studying time management many years ago and began writing books and articles, I came across this word, consequences. And it changed my life. What is said is that the consequences of an event determine whether or not it's valuable or unimportant. So therefore, if an event or an action has great potential consequences, it's important. And if something you do has low or no potential consequences, it's not important.
And forget about solving your time management problems by becoming more productive. No matter how many personal productivity techniques you master, there will always be more to do than you can ever accomplish in the time you have available to you, no matter how much time it is. You can get control of your time in your life only by changing the way you think, work, and deal with a never-ending river of responsibilities that flows over you each day. You can get control of your tasks and activities only to the degree that you stop doing some things and start spending more time on the few activities that can really make a difference in your life.
A lot of people ask, how do you organize your life when you have so much to do and so little time? It seems to be chaotic and the phone is ringing and people are calling and unexpected emergencies crop up and things that you expected to happen don't happen and things that do happen take much longer than you thought and cost much more and so on. Well, I say, join the human race. The fact is that in our world today, there's so much good stuff going on that we are eager to take a piece of everything. We're constantly raising our hand, if you like, and saying, I'll do that, and I'll do this, I'll get into that, and I'll add that to my schedule, and so on. So as I mentioned earlier, the starting point of getting your life under control is to sit down and think about two things. Who you really are, which means what are your natural talents and abilities? What do you enjoy? What do you like doing? If you could wave a magic wand, if you were financially independent, what would you want to do with your life based on your own talents and abilities? Another question we ask is if you could work at any job or in any industry or in any position or in any part of the country, what would they be? And think them through. At Stanford University, they teach an exercise in the creative thinking part of the business faculty. It's called the 2010 exercise. And that's, imagine that you have $20 million cash in the bank, just for fun, an inheritance, you won a lottery. But simultaneously, you have an incurable illness and you only have 10 years left to live. If you had $20 million in the bank and 10 years left to live, what choices and decisions would you make for your life? And that begins to clarify things. You start to become clear, well, if I had that money and only a limited time, there's certain things I would want to do and certain things that would not be that important.
When I was a young man, I came across a statistic that you've seen. It said that the average person only uses about 10% of their potential, and the other 90% is left unused throughout their lifetime. Well, recent research shows that that statistic is not true. The average person only uses about 2% of their potential, and the other 98% is stored like treasure buried in the ground, and it's never used. And what do people use their 2% for? Well, they use it mostly for conversation at work and with their friends. They use it for messaging and tweeting. They use it for watching television. Average person watches a screen, 3 to 5 hours per day. Is they're watching a screen of some kind, whether it's a computer or an iPhone or an iPad or a television. And most of what they're watching is in category 2. It's completely irrelevant and unimportant. It makes no difference in their lives at all. But whatever you do over and over again becomes a habit. So today we have an entire generation of people who have the habit of watching screens all the time. And as a result, their lives go very, very slowly. So therefore, you have to ask yourself, is this a good use of my time? Does this work have tremendous consequences for me? So when I came to studying thinking, I said, what is the activity that has the greatest potential consequences for you in your life? And the answer is thinking, because the quality of your thinking determines the quality of your actions. The quality of your actions determines the quality of your results. And in life, everything is results. Now, whatever age you're at, if you look at other people who are successful, there's one quality that successful people have, and that's that they get a lot of results. They are known by everybody as the people who get the most results. They're extremely result-oriented. They think about results all the time. What is the characteristic of unhappy and unsuccessful people? Is they waste most of their time. What do people at work waste most of their time in? They waste it talking to their friends. When they go to work in the morning, they don't go to work, they go and find somebody to talk to. And it's sort of like ducks in the farmyard. Quack, 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 quack. If you go into any business office, everybody's going quack, 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 quack. And then it's lunchtime, so they all go out, quack, 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 quack. And they all come back, quack, 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 quack. And nobody does any work. Everybody is quack, quack, quacking, and then they come in, they check their email, and they check their Facebook, and then they go into quack, quack, and have some coffee, and then they go home. I have noticed that the work day in Russia is from about 8 o'clock in the morning until about 5 o'clock at night. However, when I drive in the traffic, by 3:30 in the afternoon, the roads are full of cars. Why is that? Because everybody who gets off work at 5 o'clock is actually going home early so they can watch television. And they're going home early so that they can get ahead of the traffic. Quack, 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 quack. So most time at work is wasted. So I'll give you another technique to transform your life. It's when you go to work all the time. When you go to work, when you start first thing in the morning, just work all day. And don't do anything but your work. If somebody wants to talk to you, quack, 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 you say, yes, but not now. Let's talk after work. Or let's talk on the weekend. But right now, I have to do my work. And eventually people will stop talking to you. And they'll go and talk to other people and quack, 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 quack. And you will accomplish 2 or 3 times as much each day if you just go to work and start work and work all day long. If you just develop the habit of working all day, you will produce twice as much, you'll be paid twice as much, you'll be promoted twice as fast. And this is true all over the world, no matter what the situation.
If you're like most people today, you are overwhelmed with too much to do and too little time. As you struggle to get caught up, new tasks and responsibilities just keep rolling in like the tides. Because of this, you will never be able to do everything you have to do. You will never be caught up. You will always be behind in some of your tasks and responsibilities, and probably in many of them. For this reason, and perhaps more than ever before, your ability to select your most important task at each moment and then to start on that task and get it done both quickly and well will probably have more of an impact on your success than any other quality or skill you can develop. An average person who develops the habit of setting clear priorities and getting important tasks completed quickly will run circles around a genius who talks a lot and makes wonderful plans but gets very little done. It's been said for many years that if the first thing you do each morning is to eat a live frog, you can then go through the day with the satisfaction of knowing that is probably the worst thing that's going to happen to you all day long. Your frog is your biggest, most important task. It's the one you're most likely to procrastinate on if you don't do something about it right now. It's also the one task that can have the greatest positive impact on your life and results at the moment. It's also been said that if you have to eat 2 frogs, eat the ugliest one first. This is another way of saying that if you have two important tasks, start with the biggest, hardest, and most difficult task first. Discipline yourself to begin immediately and then to persist until the task is complete before you go on to something else. Think of this as a test. Treat it like a personal challenge. Resist the temptation to start with the easier task. Continually remind yourself that one of the most important decisions you make each day is your choice of what you will do immediately and what you will do later, if you do it at all. Here's one final observation. If you have to eat a live frog, it doesn't pay to sit and look at it for very long. The key to reaching high levels of performance and productivity is for you to develop the lifelong habit of tackling your major task first thing each morning. You must develop the routine of eating your frog before you do anything else and without taking too much time to think about it. In study after study of men and women who get paid more and promoted faster, the quality of action orientation stands out as the most observable and consistent behavior they demonstrate in everything they do. Successful, effective people are those who launch directly into their major tasks and then discipline themselves to work steadily and single-mindedly until those tasks are complete.
So here's what it consists of. It's very simply this. Each morning, get up first thing, at least 2 hours before you have to be somewhere. So you can invest the first hour, what we call the golden hour, into yourself. And you invest the golden hour by reading something that is uplifting, educational, motivational, spiritual. It doesn't matter, but they say reading is to the mind as exercise is to the body. Instead of reading newspapers or magazines or watching television, what you do is you just read something that is uplifting. If you're in sales, read something in selling. If you're in spiritually oriented, read something spiritual. If you want motivation, read something motivational, but read 1 hour every morning. That will thoroughly prepare your mind for the rest of the day. One of the great speakers said that the first hour is the rudder of the day. It's called the golden hour. So you invest the golden hour in yourself. And just like if you got up in the morning and worked out for an hour, you'd be feeling great all day long. If you get up in the morning and read for an hour, you'll be feeling mentally great all day long. Step number 2 in the formula is make a list of everything you have to do that day. Sit down, make a list of everything that you have to do, plan your day in advance. Step number 3 is organize your list by priorities. Determine what's most important, what's second most important, what's third most important. Put a number next to each one. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. Fourth step is to start on your most important task, as we mentioned before, and work on it single-mindedly with concentration, focus, and discipline until your most important task is done, and then go to task number 2 and do the same thing.
Complete each job that you start. Get on with the job and stay with it till it's 100% finished. The difficulty that people have in completing their tasks is absolutely amazing. In a study amongst 106 chief executive officers last year, they were asked what qualities out of 26 would be most important in putting a person on the fast track to success in your company. And they agreed almost unanimously on 2 qualities. Number 1, the ability to set priorities, to determine what is relevant and separate it from what is irrelevant. And number 2 is a sense of urgency, the ability to get on with the job and get it finished fast. In our world, and especially in our business world, you are paid and promoted for getting specific, measurable results. You are paid for making a valuable contribution, and especially for making the contribution that is expected of you. Failure to execute is one of the biggest problems in organizations today. Many people confuse activity with accomplishment. They talk continually, hold endless meetings, and make wonderful plans. But in the final analysis, no one does the job and gets the results required. Fully 95% of your success in life and work will be determined by the kinds of habits that you develop over time. The habit of setting priorities, overcoming procrastination, and getting on with your most important task is a mental and physical skill. As such, this habit is learnable through practice and repetition, over and over again, until it locks into your subconscious mind and becomes a permanent part of your behavior. Once it becomes a habit, it becomes both automatic and easy to do. And to become an expert at time management means that you have to become excellent at setting very clear goals and objectives for every area of your personal and especially your work life. In fact, your ability to set goals and clear objectives can increase your productivity by as much as 50% literally overnight by becoming far more clear about what it is you're trying to do and how you're trying to do it. We always encourage people to ask, what am I trying to do? How am I trying to do it? What am I trying to do? How am I trying to do it? And as many as 80% of people working today are not really clear about the answers to those two questions. In fact, if you ask what the major source of stress is in the American workplace, interviewing thousands of workers, it's not knowing what's expected. Not knowing what's expected. So your ability to set very clear goals and objectives for your work is going to have more of an effect on what you produce than anything you can imagine. In fact, the very worst waste of time is to do very well what need not be done at all. You are designed mentally and emotionally in such a way that task completion gives you a positive feeling. It makes you happy. It makes you feel like a winner. Whenever you complete a task of any size or importance, you feel a surge of energy, enthusiasm, and self-esteem. The more important the completed task, the happier, more confident, and more powerful you feel about yourself and your world. The completion of an important task triggers the release of endorphins in your brain. These endorphins give you a natural high. The endorphin rush that follows successful completion of any task makes you feel more creative and confident. Here's one of the most important of the so-called secrets of success. It is that you can actually develop a positive addiction to endorphins and to the feeling of enhanced clarity, confidence, and competence that they trigger. When you develop this addiction, almost without thinking, you begin to organize your life in such a way that you are continually starting and completing ever more important tasks and projects. You actually become addicted in a very positive sense to success and contribution. One of the keys to your living a wonderful life, having a successful career, and feeling terrific about yourself is for you to develop the habit of starting and finishing important jobs. At that point, this behavior will take on a power of its own, and you'll find it easier to complete important tasks than not to complete them. You remember the story of the man who stops a musician on a New York street and asks how he can get to Carnegie Hall. The musician replies, "Practice, man, practice." Practice is the key to mastering any new skill. Fortunately, your mind is like a muscle. It grows stronger and more capable with use. With practice, you can learn any behavior or develop any habit that you consider either desirable or necessary. You need 3 qualities to develop the habits of focus and concentration, which are all learnable. They are decision, discipline, and determination. First, make a decision to develop the habit of task completion. Second, discipline yourself to practice the principles you're about to learn until you master them. And finally, back everything you do with determination until the habit is locked in and becomes a permanent part of your personality. Now, there's a special way that you can accelerate your progress toward becoming the highly productive, effective, efficient person that you want to be. It consists of your thinking continually about the rewards and benefits of being an action-oriented, fast-moving, focused person. See yourself as the kind of person who gets important jobs done quickly and well on a consistent basis. Your mental picture of yourself has a powerful effect on your behavior. Visualize yourself as the person you intend to be in the future. Your self-image, the way you see yourself on the inside, largely determines your performance on the outside. As professional speaker Jim Cathcart says, the person you see is the person you will be. You have a virtually unlimited capability to learn and develop new skills, habits, and abilities. When you train yourself through repetition and practice to overcome procrastination and get your most important tasks completed quickly, you will move yourself onto the fast track in your life and career and step on the accelerator. So, let's eat that frog.